an infrastructure for AI. And this is within the South Atlantic ecosystem. So I'm going to be the moderator for this little cafe session that we've set up here with my fine guests. So there's obviously been a lot of development going on over the last few years. There's quite a few systems already heading, cable systems heading down from Europe all the way along the coast of Africa and beyond. Africa now has direct cable going over to Latin America. And of course, our friends at Ellalink have created a fantastic link from Europe, Africa, also to Latin America. So there's this fantastic triangle now developing. So we want to take a bit of a look at this, and we also want to look how the impact of perhaps new applications, AI developments, and other technologies have increased their demands and what impact that's got on the ecosystem. So we're going to have a look at what's happened in the last 12 months, what may happen in the future. So I've invited 3 experts to join me on this panel. Let me just introduce them in the best order I can. On the end, we have Mohammed Ibrahim, the CEO of Interfiber. He just presented. Welcome, Mohammed. Angela Gama, he's the CEO of Angola Cables, is in the center. And next to me is Vlad Ihora. He's Senior Vice President of Global Sales of Ellalink. I'll put these on so I can make sure I hear you. So we'll kick it off a little bit. I'm going to start with you, Angelo, if that's good. I wanted to take a little bit of a look at what we just talked about, is the evolving traffic routes. Now, Angola Cables operates on some of the most dynamic routes within the system that we just talked about, from Europe to Latin America and Africa. So, Angelo, how do you see these routes evolving to support the coming wave of AI-driven data traffic?
First of all, good afternoon, everybody. Serge, thank you very much for having me once again here at this forum. For sure, I think that because what we see now is a congested north routes, and with all the AI demands that we saw here today since the early morning, I think the south, the global south, will be an alternative for what we have up in the north hemisphere. Ourselves, we interconnect Africa to South America, South America to North America, South America to Europe directly, for where we are here now, with very ultra low latency links. And I think that will be the key for everything. I think the same argument we've seen since this morning is what are the main requisites for AI data flows in terms of training, in terms of inference and everything else. And we saw that low latency is key, besides all the other things. But in terms of connectivity, I think what we have to offer is really truly low latency links across the globe, much more on the southern hemisphere. And we have done that in the past. We have proven that the routes that we so boldly put together, the south to south, the SACs from Africa to South America, using the same system from Africa to America, US. And then what we see now, the tendency, and we're not yet, I think we're going to get to this point later on, we're not yet having AI processing being done in Africa, but we're seeing already some of our partners asking for a diverse routes from Africa to Europe that they go via Brazil. So I think for sure that what we have to offer and what the South to South have to offer will for sure guarantee that we can provide what is the biggest demands for AI traffic processing.
Yeah, fantastic. And it's great to see those resilient redundancy and options that you're giving people to make use of. Mohammed, maybe something a little bit similar. You're also operating on different subsea and terrestrial cable systems in quite a few different markets. How do you see the AI-related traffic moving today? Are we still dominated by the north-south corridor? Or is that south-south starting to open up and gain traction? And I mean, within African regions and between Latin America and Africa?
So far, everything is going north because this is where all the HPC are. So unless we get all this HPC installed in Africa and all the processing started to be done in Africa and South Africa or whatever on the continent or even in Latam, everything will continue going on. Okay, and so far this is the trend, and unless Africa fix some other issues, for example, or Latin America fix some issues like of infrastructure, terrestrial infrastructure and energy, then I don't think the HPC will come. So there is this egg and the chicken situation. So everyone will want the other to start first. So for the moment, it will continue till Africa will or Latin America will start having this HPC and all this power solved.
Okay. Well, Vlad, maybe from a little bit of a different perspective. I mean, there is a lot of talk about AI reshaping data, but not all the operators are saying they're actually seeing a big uptake in the change of data. So from your perspective, when looking at AI growth, is this a reality or is it a bit of a buzzword?
I mean, no offense, and please excuse me if we're going to be a bit tangential here, but it is a buzzword still. Nobody knows what it's going to look like. Nobody knows what it's going to feel like for carriers. We know what it looks like to a point to us as regular Joes at home when we try the systems and we have amazing little applications. But how is this going to change our business? We don't know. Everybody says, oh, it's going to be big, it's going to be huge, it's going to be X, Y, Z. Let's deploy tons more fiber. Why? Do we know how the architecture is going to function? Probably is going to require less connectivity in certain instances, or maybe the edge to edge is going to be super, dependent on high fiber count and super low latency. But we don't know yet. What matters most is that obviously we are horses for courses. In our specific case, we are a subsea cable operator connecting Europe to South America directly. So as and when there will be more edge deployments of AI, probably we will see it. Like you were saying, Ibrahim, in terms of maybe South America getting to that step of being a much more reliable location for deploying these edges. Or Angelo, as you were mentioning earlier, in terms of how you're seeing the African traffic, and obviously our companies work together and we're very happy in this partnership. We love to see more of that happening soon. We are welcoming additional traffic, be that AI or normal telco. But I think it would be a bit early doors to fly the flag of saying, oh, there's not enough capacity, deploy some more. Let's see how on earth this is going to look like and how much is going to be required first.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's move away a little bit from the routing and talk about sort of the complementary infrastructure that goes along with it. Angelo, I know that we talked about the fact that Africa has a lot of cheap resources available for green energy, and there's an abundant amount of land. So why do you think that we haven't yet seen an AI mega campus on the continent, and what might need to change for this to become a reality?
That's a very good question, Serge. We have the potential, that's for sure. Ourselves in Angola, I think we're like the seventh cheapest energy across the globe. And that number is changing every day. But why don't we have an announcement for a mega campus in Africa? And that's really the thing. It's not enough for you to have cheap energy. It's not enough for you that we have a surplus of energy in Angola. I think today is more than 2 gigawatts of surplus energy that Angola produce, green energy, everything hydropower. But why is not enough to attract a hyperscaler to deploy in Africa, in this case directly in Angola, a mega campus? We just seen the announcement that TikTok made for the first mega campus in South America, in Fortaleza, Porto Pecém. And why we're not able to do that? I think there's various variables that have to be made accountable for. And the first one would be, well, the two main ones will be us having legislation that will attract investment. Let us say one mega campus costs you or something around, for 1 gigawatt, something around $10 billion. If you have to import $5 billion out of equipment, and you're paying 15% taxes. Man, that's unbearable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really unbearable because Africa doesn't produce any equipment. You have to import everything. So we need to legislate. And then the other thing is, although we have innumerous and a lot of power supply, green energy, the grids, they're not up to the level. They're not up to the level. So and huge investment needs to be made in terms of the grids. And then we don't have announcements like we had here a few years ago on Start Campus. Even without having an hyperscaler, the government and a group of investors, they decided to build the first mega campus in Portugal. We don't have nothing like that in Africa. So there needs to be a partnership between the governments, the investors, and produce enough regulatory laws to attract foreign and direct investments.
Okay.
And after that, what we need to have is really the infrastructure in place, and that would be connectivity, that would be the green energy, that would be the grid, and that would be the stability in terms of law and the countries as well, in order to attract those investors and the mega campus to Africa.
Yeah.
But once they've done it, and this has to do with the governments assuming that there's a huge potential of money making in terms of technology, not just exploring the national resources. Once they've do it and they've done it, and then I think that Africa for sure, because of the low cost of energy in Africa, it will be an alternative for the mega campus deployment we're seeing here in Europe and US.
Okay, fantastic. So regulation, infrastructure needs to be built up. Mohammed, we talked about this a little bit as well. And you had a slightly different view. Perhaps you agree with those first couple of parts.
Yeah.
But if I remember correctly, when we talked about this, two of the points that you brought up was the heat, the temperatures, and the instability in the power supplies.
Okay, so one of the problem is the power supply is unstable. Plus, it goes and you don't know when it will come back. So everyone have a generator in Africa, and actually we use our generators more than the power itself, depending on the region, of course. The other thing is the heat. I used to crypto mine in the RC back in the time to try, because electricity was almost free. Okay, and one of the issues we had, it's the power was not stable enough, so we had some issues. And the other issue was the cooling. So when the power will fluctuate, the cooling will fluctuate as well. So we will have some time to pick up, and it will cause problems. On the other hand, as Angelo said, there is some problem with incentives in African governments. So they don't see long term. Like in Europe, most of the plans are built. You have plans for 2050. You have plans for the next 50, 60 years. We don't have it yet, because there is a problem in Africa that everyone is busy surviving. There is some occupation in survival. And another thing is if it makes viable sense on the financial part. So we can build the biggest buildings in Africa. We have space, we have the electricity, but will it make viable sense? Many of the data centers that we've put in Africa are still empty.
Yeah.
Not because the power is less expensive, no, because there is no yet demand. So everyone is afraid to do the first step. I said, Vlad, now it's like, should we follow a trend? Should we add more pairs because there is AI? Then maybe they will do the compute on the edge, and then this pair will be. So it's not because we cannot do it technically. We can do it technically. The problem is that it needs to make viable sense for boards, for investors, for yourself, because otherwise you go bankrupt and you cannot continue. So there is a lot of challenge to be fixed, and demand or the build needs to follow demand and not the other way around.
Yeah, thanks. Vlad, on infrastructure, I mean, okay, you've made it clear you're a submarine cable operator, but nonetheless, forming part of that ecosystem is the cable landing stations, campuses, terrestrial links to those campuses, and so on. When you look at these other elements, how much does that play into the strategy that you formed for Elolink?
Well, it's a fortuitous situation right now, because CNES has just come out with the great announcement by Start Campus of the massive AI node that's being built there. We in Start Campus were amongst the first ones who promoted CNES on the map in terms of the relevance of this strategic location in Portugal for Europe and for the next area of subsea deployments as well as DC and hyperscale deployments. And we've been proven right. I think at the time, well, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago, people were thinking, are you crazy? Why would you go there? Then the same question would have been placed on the people who were promoting Stad Campus in the same place. Why? Why on earth? Of course, there's power there. There's plenty of land. There's a lot of openness from the local authorities to build, but there wasn't a real obvious demand of that happening. But not me in this case, but my colleagues who were in the company at the time had the good business sense to understand that it's one of the same opportunities that probably someone had in Marseille, God knows how many years ago, by identifying the strategic point which creates a diverse option. So that's how, fortunately, CNES has become what it is today. And in the background, obviously, people not maybe talk about it because it's not that sexy topic, but it's not just the Stad Campus deployment or our little CLS. It's also the fiber within CNES that matters. And we've been digging that up and we've been ducting it and we've been putting a lot of metro assets. And our partners who are doing the long haul network have been doing the same. But that's not been because of the AI deployment. It was purely what happens when you have a massive DC capability being built and you also have our cable. There's going to be another hyperscaler cable coming soon and a few more to be announced coming also into CNES. With that happening, you have to have the right infrastructure in the background because one doesn't work without the other. So yes, there's a lot of stuff going down there with the refreshes of the long distance network from G655 or G652 to G652D, as we will love it. New ducts, lots of fiber pairs, and this is all combined with both the new large deployments of data centers, but also with the subsea cables coming in, and then with the routes that have to go into Lisbon, have to go into Madrid, and from then on into all the other locations. Okay. So it's all hand in hand.
Good, good. Okay, so we've got an idea of the first part of this, the infrastructure that's for AI or just infrastructure that's there for the internet for whatever purpose it may be. What about the other way around, AI for the infrastructure? Now, Mohammed, maybe I can start with you. I know from the chats that we had and what you were talking about earlier about your experience with it, that Interfiber does make use of AI for its internal operation. So how are you leveraging AI today and what are you doing to make best use of it?
So as I mentioned earlier, we use AI for routes. So to reroute, to learn all the routes, to have the shortest AS path and the better latency, less jitter and all that. So because as a human, we can do so much. So with the AI, you can actually leverage it a little bit more. Of course, as Vlad said, it's a buzzword, but everything was a buzz. Like the cars were a buzz. Every new technology, electricity was a buzz. So at a certain point, either you adapt to it, either it becomes mainstream, either it dies. Many things we thought will die, like blockchain and all, became mainstream. Some stuff came and stayed. Some stuff will disappear. Of course, we shouldn't adapt our infrastructure just for that. We should. It should be part of the infrastructure. Like AI should be a service like another thing. Okay. Now on our network we have this AI BGP route learner. That apply all things, and we have this AI chatbot that does all the support. So it replaces, and we notice it a lot on many websites, including banking. Most of the chatbots now are all robots, and you need to ask for a live agent if it's not able to fix something. And they're getting better and better actually. So we try to do that to be able to work 24/7 because you cannot push human to work that much.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So Vlad, over to you with this particular point. Of course, AI can be a powerful tool that those that want to wield it, and just like a sword, but not everyone does. And from the chats I've had with you, I'm curious, how do you decide which technologies you do see genuine value in, and when do you decide to use them, or when do you just feel that it's a trend or a buzzword or so on?
I mean, don't get me wrong, we'll probably stand proven within the next couple of years or whatever assumptions we made today. But it's horses for courses. In your case, it makes sense. You got a big network. In our case, it doesn't make sense. We have a small network. It's a single asset network. We call it the clockwork network because it is designed like a Swiss watch, and that's been functioning like this ever since. majority of the people in our small company are engineers. They designed and manage and operate and extend this network like is their this most precious joy whatsoever. So we don't really need the AI in this instance, nor do we have a customer service requirement of that level. But for certain other companies, it's essential. And in our everyday life, it is essential. We see it as being much more and more mainstream from many perspectives. Everybody's popping up little movies of AI when they do conferences, which I believe is needless because we can watch them on YouTube. But when it comes to how do you apply it within each organization, it's a matter of what works where. In our case, is not required. Maybe if we were to expand into something bigger, it would make sense. If you have a single system operating over the network, if you have everything designed on the same power level from point A to point B, doesn't matter over how many thousands of kilometers, and if it's super simple to provision and manage new connections, honestly, why bother? But in certain other instances, it's essential because you have companies which have swallowed others and they have completely different OSs and they have completely different processes, and maybe they'll need a chatbot who's going to make much more sense of it, or to create an inventory tool that will respond to these things. So it's again, horses for courses. Yeah. We don't need it yet. Others will.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that impacts us in the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah. Okay. Angelo, we also talked about this a couple of weeks ago when we got introduced, and you talked quite a bit about the AI-driven tools and even a team that you'd assembled to help you and to look at all different facets of your organization. Can you expand on some of those?
Yes, Serge. Just like Mohammed here, we have a very wide infrastructure that spans across the globe. We do a full circuit around the world. We have a lot of points of presence. So cost for us is a must, and efficiency for us is everything. So we're using AI with the team that we have assembled. Now we have more than 30 guys doing development for us inside the company. Just trying to come out with the better solutions to optimize our network, cost efficiency, reduce the downtime. And at the customer, this is internal side. Yeah, in terms of what we need to do to reduce power consumption and all these kinds of optimize routing, spectrum management, fault management, optimize routing, and all these kind of things. That is what everybody is looking for and investing money these days on their own network, so that they can use the technology to improve the quality of the services that they provide. But we're also doing something else, which is in terms of pricing, come out with different pricing solutions to our customers. Angola Cables is a wholesaler, and all the wholesalers here present, they feel the same pain as we do, like Link here, which is the price erosion every year on year. So it's like around 20% year on year. We every time we have to renew a contract, it's cheaper than the previous one. Unfortunately, our technology providers, they don't do the same as we do to our customers. So struggling with the price is a must. And what we're trying to achieve using AI, for instance, is come up with different pricing solutions for our customers. They don't need to pay everything up front. They can pay by traffic base, by destination, per user consumptions, and all these kind of things. So we want to provide for our billing teams tools that will facilitate the way we charge our customers with, in terms of traffic patterns, where they go. Well, IP transit it's very easy to do that, but we want to use AI to come with different solutions for us to charge our customers, and then to differentiate what we sell in respect or in regards to the competition.
Yeah, nice. Okay. So great use case, isn't it? And it makes sense that you're making use of it. Okay, we've only got a few minutes left, and they've asked me to stay on time. I wanted to just take a little bit of a crystal ball look at the next 3 to 5 years. Part of it may be your strategy, part of it may be your own thoughts. Vlad, maybe I can start with you, looking ahead the next few years, and especially at the broader ecosystem and Link's role in it. Where do you see that developing in the next 5 years, let's say?
on the record, with regards to AI, I have no clue.
Okay.
But in terms of where we're going, it's very clear. We're going where the demand is. So we're expanding, we're adding branches. We've got French Guiana, which is being developed. We have Mauritania, which is into force. There's going to be more development on the Brazilian coast, again, because of the lack of that infrastructure in that location. If this is going to marry up with the demands coming from AI, happy days.
Yeah.
If not now, then it will definitely happen later. But it's not intrinsically linked with it. It's part of a larger business case that was developed before AI.
Yeah.
Anything is cherry on the cake.
Okay, great, clear. Angelo, maybe I'll throw this one back to you again. Looking a little bit ahead, do you think that there's going to be more new infrastructure or subsea cable systems built, or do you think we're going to make more efficient and better use of the ones we currently have? How do you see that working in the next few years?
Well, for sure. I think every day we're seeing new announcements. And Subcom just announced Subcom 2.0. So there's new announcements every day, and the subsea systems, they have a lifespan very well determined, from 20 to 25 years. So every now and then we need to have new cables in, new system in, just to make sure that they will replace the new ones. And then we have several things on the newer technology that we didn't have on the old ones that we need to come forward with the new systems, just to catch up with the demands, being AI demands, which I think not the same. I don't have the same sort of Vlad. I think that AI demands will be the one that will drive the future needs in terms of data traffic across the globe. Or just the normal content that we need to pass from point A to B, and that will be it. In Africa, I believe that what we have now and what is being announced is going to be the offload of the northern traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Africa and the South Hemisphere routes are the ones that are going to dictate the difference between what we have on the Northern Hemisphere. And if we add more intelligence to the routing tables that we have now, or more intelligence to do the normal BGP, maybe we'll have AI saying that the best routes are the southern routes and not the northern ones, because northern ones are too congested.
Yeah. Okay.
Can be the case.
Yeah. Thanks, Angelo. Okay, Mohammed, with you again, sort of looking in the future and the next wave of digital transformation, particularly in Africa, I really like your philosophy of purpose precedes profit. And with that in mind, how do you see that philosophy shaping the infrastructure decisions of Interfiber in the next few years?
Yeah. So in a lot of places we did things before thinking that it will be it will pay back. So it was always that we needed to do it because it had to be done. And at a certain point, it paid back, which is not bad. And at a certain point, it didn't. So it's not a reason not to do it. Now, if we go back to AI for us, it is maybe a buzzword, but it's not our bread and butter. It's not our main focus. What we do is we sell and we connect people. If AI is it can be just, like in any restaurant. Like a restaurant that serves a lot of things on the menu doesn't serve it well. So you need to have something that is, but even if your specialty is meat, you still serve some fries. So for us, the AI is just the fries.
Okay. Nicely put. Okay. All I see is the red lights flashing, asking us to stop.
So
but
you want me to?
Please, Angelo, last word.
I really do believe that we can have a mega campus in Africa. And Angola Cable is going to do everything under ourselves and our partners to make it a real.
That sounds like a call to the audience here.
We're open for partnership.
We will do it on the border between Angola and Congo.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so a partnership's been formed in 30 minutes. Fantastic.
Thank
All
you.
right, gentlemen. Thank you very much for your time. Thank all these gentlemen for their input. Thank you.